Yo guys, this is Reinhardt and this is gonna be a melee class roles in RBG video. It's gonna be a bit long, but the information I'm gonna give you is gonna be incredible, I promise you that. On top of it, I understand that some of you not playing a melee class in RBG, but you probably still want to watch the video because it's a team effort, it's a group effort, and therefore it will be very beneficial for you to actually watch this guide and understand how you can assist your team in helping your melee classes to do better. Now when it comes to melee, I'm gonna be touching base pretty much everything, including and unlimited to ferals, warriors, enhancement shamans. I'm gonna be talking about paladins, red paladins, frost decays, and of course rogues. Now for the overview of melee, actually it's melee not melee, I'm gonna be talking about the first of all overall roles. What's your overall role and what are you expected to do or to be in RBGs? I'm gonna talk about how to be efficient. I'm gonna talk about the positioning and defensives, and those two actually go together, and I'm gonna go in detail about it. And I'm also gonna talk about the individual roles. I mean, let's face it, warrior is very different from the feral or a DK for that matter. Now for the all roles, I would say the biggest role for us is to be a disruptor, is to disrupt the positioning of the enemies, is to be able to find and capitalize on those who are out of the position or who we need to actually lock out or disrupt their enemy lines. Especially DKs are very good at it because of a death group, because they can command where the target is going to be located. Granted, if you don't play a frost decay in RBGs, you cannot do a lot of spread out pressure, and the range is always gonna win in that category. So therefore you have to find your own niche, and the niche is usually lockout on the healers, and you have to be very good with those lockouts. And then after lockouts the damage comes in next, and then of course a quick gims, the FC. The shit that kills FC, nothing more scary than having a decay and a rogue just wailing on the freaking FC, or let's say a rogue and a red that pops wings. So your also job is to do a quick gims. Let me actually touch base with a disruption and the healer lockouts. Those are my numbers when it comes to interrupts for the entire RBG team. And even though you guys think that the number is not big, but think about it this way, you only fight about 30 to 40 seconds in a match. And getting those mind freeze is not actually the easiest part to do, but you have to be on top of your game, because as a melee you have the shortest interrupt on the cooldown and you have to be utilizing them to a full potential. As you guys see, I do 12 interrupts in one match and about 12 in the other one, and this is usually my average. But if you guys can see, it's a 40% and 44% of the entire RBG team, the enemy team included. So it's out of 20 players, one was able to actually get 44% of interrupts. And needless to say that mages do have to spend some of their stuff for blankets and maybe locks, but this is where the melee shines, to disrupting and locking down the healers and casters for that matter as well. And that brings me to the next bullet point, is how to be efficient in RBGs as a melee. The first thing you need to understand that you need to balance out between AoE and single target damage. And for the frost decays who just spam howling blast to top damage, that is really cute. But if they're not putting necrotic strikes and locking down the healers, they are basically a waste of a spot in my opinion. That's at least the way I like to look at it. Interrupts have to go off mostly off CD because they are little, and you guys saw what you can do with the interrupts. You have to collaborate with your ranged DPS, and remember that they are there to assist you. Here's for example how I'm usually doing, is when I'm training a healer, I usually, if I'm out of my strangulate or a pet stun, I usually say, hey, get the freaking blanket on this paladin. And then one time we fought against the double paladins at like 2300 MMR, and basically I asked for a counter spell on my paladin so I could kill him, and I mouse over mind freeze the other paladin at the same time. This is how to be efficient. You need to collab and you need to know when to do damage in terms of AoE and the single target. And that actually brings me to a next bullet point, which is positioning and defenses. And here's the thing about this, guys. For ranged DPS, their defenses is mostly their positioning, how well they can position themselves up to mitigate as much damage as possible and actually dish out as much damage as they possibly can. For melee, it's not like that. We have to stand there, we have to take hits. So our positioning is actually kind of been taken off of here, and it's mostly defensives. So for that you have to communicate with healers, and they have to give you Earth Shield and Beacon most of the time. You know what I usually do? I'm saying, hey Shaman, give me Earth Shield, dude, come on, because you need those shit. Save your cooldowns and communicate. If the healers are CC'd and they don't have you, then pop your cooldowns, but make sure they are communicating that. Know when to pull back. Honestly, when the rogue smokes bombs you, when you actually shooting on their healers is nice, but you're gonna go down like a fucking cracker, so you need to know when to pull back and when to save your stuff. Save your trinket as the best solution as a defensives. So therefore, you can actually trinket out of the smoke bomb and pop your defensives at the same time. And also as a melee, here's a few things that you have to do. First of all, you need to know, you need to be res as the ferals and decays. You have to do peels, disarms, stun charges, pet charges, whatever it is, you have to utilize it. Utilize your heals. Amazing World of Glory bomb heals, which is basically laying hands on a 10-second cooldown. That shit has to be up there. Everything that your class has to offer, you have to be using that, because as a melee you are more versatile than a range, in my opinion, because there's a lot of stuff that you have to be doing in order to be very efficient. To be honest, I played my luck and I also played my decay. And let me tell you one thing, when I actually found out that how to play difference between the melee and the range, my whole world just flipped up and around 110%, because I basically had to do almost the opposite of what the range had to do as a melee, simply put because of prioritizing what I will have to do in RBGs to be successful. Now guys, thanks a lot for watching, and thanks a lot for actually listening to my goofy accent. I'm gonna be talking about the individual roles, starting and touching base everything from Feral to a Red Paladin, every single role and what their jobs in the next video, and I'm gonna be working on it really hard, and it's probably gonna come out either later on today or tomorrow, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please thumb it up, subscribe, like, favorite, and до свидания.